Hello there. I know it's not the norm for me to appear at the start of my videos, but I felt this one needed a little introduction. You see, for a long time I've been terrorizing the Islamic channel named the LondonDawahMovement by dismantling their claims and displaying their inability to argue from reality. Now, a while back they simply stopped posting content and I'd lost one of my main sources of my responses. Recently, however, they came back, and it seems that after I and other counter-apologists flooded their LondonDawahMovement channel with reality, they seem to be moving over to a new channel which goes by the name of MissionDawah. Now, this channel seems to be promoting their relation to the larger group IERA, which stands for the Islamic Education and Research Academy, an international organization founded around the spreading of fraudulent information as well as simply bad science and philosophy a little bit more. Therefore, to honour this fact, I'm going to do a short binge response. With that said, let the videos roll.
Assalamu alaikum brothers and sisters and friends, inshallah you guys are well, so we're back with the GDM show. It's been a while, it's been quite a while, but inshallah this time we're back for good and we're going to be consistent and we're going to be putting out much better content than ever before.
Well, it's about time. I mean, I have possibly been one of your most consistent viewers who has offered no end to the amount of time which I've laid down to critique your poor content. From your general ignorance to malicious deception, I have sat through it all, and I'm glad to hear that you'll be setting off to make amends to these issues. Do carry on.
So we're here with brother Hamza today. Assalamu alaikum, bro.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. How are you doing, bro?
Alhamdulillah,
how's everything?
Very
Family good?
Very
good.
How are you?
Alhamdulillah, good.
Excellent. So today we're going to be covering a contention to start with, right? So not an argument, but a contention. And the argument we've mentioned in videos before, which is a design argument.
Yes.
Now in summary, the design argument is that there's design in the universe, there's laws, there's order, there's constants and quantities which are fine-tuned. And the best explanation for this is that there's a designer. Not chance, not necessity, but a designer.
Yes,
right?
so basically that there's laws in the universe, there are constants, which means fixed numbers in the universe are not dependent on the laws of the universe. If these were changed by a little bit, a hair's breadth, you want to have a universe that allows me and you, our existence.
Okay.
So therefore we're saying the best explanation is that there must be some kind of designer.
Sure.
As one physicist said, someone's monkeyed with the physics.
Yes, okay. And dial the dials in precisely.
And what you have unsuspectingly admitted is that your God is less than all-powerful if he exists, as you have just stated that he would be incapable of creating life any other way. Meanwhile, physics and theoretical biology makes no such claim. Rather simply, we don't know all the conditions in which life may arise and how differing variations in universal laws could affect this. There could be universes with more life out there. Also, it's not that there are mathematical numbers to the universe. We use numbers to describe the universe. We transcribe the seemingly random into a language that allows pattern prediction within a reasonable degree of error. Why do I say a reasonable degree? Well, when you reach the level low enough, the whole idea of universal constants just goes out the window as we enter the quantum realm where nothing is as neat as that. But do carry on.
Okay, but the contention we're addressing is that, well, we can't make such a claim. We can't claim that it's designed because there's no mathematical probability, right? There's not many or 100 or 200 or 3,000 universes that we've observed and we've seen how they work. Therefore, we can conclude this about our universe, right? So this is essentially what they're saying.
Okay, then that's what they're saying is this, is that you're saying that it's highly likely that there must be a designer for the universe based upon the constants and the laws in the universe. But you can't claim likelihood because they're assuming it's a mathematical likelihood, a mathematical probability. Because they're saying for it to be a mathematical probability, you need a probability distribution. How can you have that? You don't have another universe. You don't have other universes that you observe, so you can't even claim anything concerning mathematical probability. Sure. Therefore, just be quiet. There is no design because you can't even claim that it's so likely. Because the minute you say likely, you're assuming a mathematical probability. You can't have a maths probability in this case because we don't have another universe or set of universes. So this is how we address with the
And-
contention.
Yep, and the contention was made recently, if I believe, is the big question of the question time on BBC.
The big question.
By Arif, Ahmed, and you.
Dr. Arif
Dr.
Ahmed
Arif
from
Ahmed,
Cambridge.
yep.
He, in his kind of eloquent way, he basically said, there is no distribution.
Let's play the clip.
Okay, let's
play the clip.
Let's do that.
If we look at the specific argument concerning the so-called fine-tuning of the universe for life, that is to say, the particular values of certain physical constants is so specific that had it been different by, say, 1 part in 10 to the power of 100 or something, there would have been no life in the universe. That's the argument. That argument assumes that this dispensation would have been very unlikely to have arisen by chance. We have no reason whatever to think that. The only reason to think that something like that is unlikely is if we have some grounds for establishing some particular probability distribution in advance. The only way to establish such a distribution in advance is through repeated trials of universes being created.
So as you can see, what he said here is you can't claim mathematical probability as we just discussed. And he challenged us, and I really wanted to say something, but I wasn't given the opportunity. As you know, the big questions, they're not conducive. It's not conducive to lots of intellectual debate and dialogue, as you know.
Okay, well, I think I have a basic understanding of what Dr. Arif Ahmed meant, and thus I'm going to attempt to put it into a simple analogy to help the discussion along. Imagine we are playing a game of roulette. However, rather than choosing the color or number for, themselves, the apologists have someone choose it in secret. So the ball is rolled and it lands on red 21. It is then announced that the apologist has won. Now, what the fine-tuning argument is doing in effect is declaring that the probability of the apologist winning was 1 in 37, without knowing what the second person actually chose in secret and, what the apologist's winnings are. They therefore declare this to have unlikely been the result of chance, and thus it must be the result of divine will. In reality, the person who chose for them could have in fact chosen red, in which case the chance of success was just below 50% due to the house cut. They could have chosen odds as well and get roughly the same probability. Fact is that the apologist does not know the probability because they do not know what other numbers could have won the money. Likewise, apologists do not know what variables within a universe allow for life, and even whether a universe can successfully form outside those variables. As Dr. Arif Ahmed notes, the probability of life-enabling universes could have been 100% for all we know, as maybe the wheel only consisted of red 21s. But ultimately, even if the person has specifically chosen red 21 on a normal wheel, that does not then mean that there was some divine will involved. Rather, all it means is that we beat the odds. Thus, the believer shows the exact same mindset as a gambler who believes themselves to be on the divine winning streak, one that could not possibly fail, when that's not the reality. I hope this sort of helps to visualize what is going on.
So, this is how we address the issue. Dr. Arif Ahmed, not just him but many others who he's taken this argument from, has conflated mathematical probability with epistemic probability. I know that's a big term.
Big words.
Yes.
Can you explain both of those?
So,
first?
we know what mathematical probability is. Epistemic probability is basically what you would say. Let me give you an example. It is highly likely that the dinosaurs were extinct because of a meteorite. This is not mathematical probability, sure. It's an epistemic, a knowledge, a rational probability, because it's based upon our background evidence. The evidence we have concerning the Earth, concerning the current science that we know, and concerning other pieces of empirical evidence that we have at hand. And so we take that all on board, and then we basically make a conclusion. Sure. And based on that evidence, we're saying this evidence supports hypothesis H. What's hypothesis H in this instance? That the dinosaurs were extinct via meteorite, right?
Right, okay.
Now, let me give you another example. You have a man, he's passed away. He got shot in the head, bro. Sure. Yeah? And we have two suspects. his daughter, or his wife. So we look at the evidence E, if it supports our hypothesis H. So we have a hypothesis, which is the wife killed the father. That's our hypothesis.
Right.
So let's look at the evidence E. Does it support our hypothesis? So the evidence is this. The daughter, she was in Los Angeles during that time. Los Angeles. She was on a party, on a holiday, right? The wife, however, she was seen in the area at that time of death, and also her fingerprints are on the gun.
Sure.
And the gun has his blood on it, and it's right next to him. So we look at the evidence and we're thinking, what does that evidence do? Does that evidence support hypothesis H? And in this instance, it's the fact that the father was murdered by the wife, or does it support the hypothesis that the father was murdered by the daughter?
No, it supports the hypothesis that it was the wife, and it negates that it could be the daughter.
Exactly, and the evidence itself actually denies the other hypothesis that the daughter killed the father because she has an alibi. She was in Los Angeles, for example. So the evidence E supports hypothesis H.
And here you have just cut yourself off. You see, epistemic probability requires evidence input to form a conclusion. It does not act as evidence for a conclusion. Going back to the dinosaur example, they did not merely look at the extinction of the dinosaurs with a complete absence of evidence for the KPG meteorite and claim this proves that said meteorite exists. No, they utilized geography to find possible impact locations and geological sediment layers, namely the KPG boundary, to display that the meteorite existed and was of reasonable size to cause a global catastrophe and extinction. This evidence makes a probable link between the two individual facts, that the dinosaurs went extinct and there was this massive meteorite. If you like, epistemic probability discusses the likelihood of relevance and causation. Similarly, with the murder example, the people exist, the DNA exists, the weapon exists, the body exists. God does not have this benefit. All you have for the universe is equatable to a body with no discernible marks or wounds or evidence of poisoning that would suggest anything but death from natural causes. Now from this you have declared that not only do you know someone did this, but you know who did this. Whether or not you have the evidence is another matter, but the dead body alone is not evidence for this. The body is the mystery, just like the universe is the mystery and not the answer. Ergo, the argument from supposed fine-tuning is not an argument, but a question. You've managed to run your own argument off the tracks in trying to avoid Dr. Arif Ahmed's death blow to said fine-tuning argument.
So let's apply this to the universe, bro. Oh, we have these amazing laws. The strong nuclear force, the law of gravity, the electromagnetic force, all of these laws. And if they were changed, we won't have a universe that allows our existence. Let's look at the other evidence. We have these constants, these fixed numbers that are not dependent on the laws of the universe. If they were changed by a hair's breadth, we would, like the gravitational constant, for example, we wouldn't have a universe that has me, you, and everybody else in it, right? So that evidence E supports what hypothesis? Design or chance?
But you just switch back to mathematical probability. Namely, your claim that if those constants changed, life would not exist. But how do you know this? And how do you know that the universe could exist in any other way? How do you know that the universe doesn't automatically set up in this way, like Stephen Hawking would suggest? You are attempting to hide behind epistemic probability when you are still making unfounded assertions on mathematical probability. Now, I note that you state that you wouldn't exist. Fact is, you don't have to go all the way and play subjunctive universal constants for that. If the sperm cell that was you had not reached your mother's egg first, you would not exist. This is why I am dealing with the existence of life in general. To the universe, individuals are not preordained to exist. you are projecting a divine plan onto us and claiming we cannot account for that when we do not hold to a divine plan. Simply put, what is and what isn't never was. An unthinkable number of people who could have existed in some parallel universe have not, due to the state of the universe. Countless were never born simply because that was not the way the universe went. The universe was not created for you. You are lucky to be in it rather than your countless theoretical brothers and sisters.
It's designed quite clearly.
Exactly.
Using our rational minds and
Exactly.
reasoning over the evidence.
That's the
designed.
point. Now, there's no mathematical probability here. It's an epistemic probability, which is based upon the evidence you have at hand. You just basically form the most rational conclusion. For example, I'm looking at your amazing glasses, bro, right?
Thank you.
You've told me that they're for a purpose. You're looking at them so you could you're looking through them so you could see objects more clearly.
Sure.
And coupled with other background information that I have, I formed the conclusion that those glasses were actually designed, right? Because the evidence I have at hand that they used for a particular purpose to look at objects clearly, and all other kind of evidence that I have about objects that look like glasses, they have been designed. That evidence is support of the fact that the glasses have been
Designed, basically.
exactly. That's it, bro.
That's it.
So he did a mistake.
What mistake? What evidence do you have? Your argument is still dependent on mathematical probability, as that which you claim is evidence is mathematical probability. You merely asserting it is not is rather simply a lie, and a terrible one at that. Your only apparent evidence is one which makes unfounded claims about the probabilities of life in our universe. Like it or not, that is mathematical probability.
It's not just Dr. Arif Ahmed, he's an intelligent chap, but it's other intelligent chaps, or so-called intelligent chaps, that he's derived this argument from. It's very simple. He's conflated mathematical probability with epistemic.
Sure.
This has got nothing to do with mathematical probability, it's epistemic. The evidence E supports hypothesis H. The evidence that we have fine-tuned laws and constants is support of the hypothesis that there is a designer, not that is based on chance.
But that evidence is a claim of mathematical probability. The claim that life could not exist in any other type of universe, as well as the claim that a universe can even exist in any other way, is not justified. It is subject to mathematical probability, ergo it falls victim to our ignorance on said probability, as Dr. Arif Ahmed notes. Ergo, you have no evidence to discuss epistemic probability with. So stop being a patronizing tit and admit you lost.
Sure.
And by the way, this argument does have more complex arguments like the multiverse, etc.
Of course, there's
but we
lots.
will address them at another.
Of course, there's many more shows
Another
that
show.
are coming, and brothers and sisters, make sure you stay tuned, because we're having loads more consistent shows.
Can I
Inshallah.
just add something?
Yes.
So by the way, brothers and sisters, this goes to show that just because someone sounds clever and he's from Cambridge, it doesn't mean what he's saying is absolutely right.
If there's a take-home message, that's the message.
And by the way, this applies to me as well. We all could be wrong,
Yep.
and the thing is, we just want to improve, comment, like, follow,
Yep.
and we're gonna continuously improve and just improve. And
Inshallah.
I'm just chatting rubbish now. So.
No problem. Last mission, brothers and sisters, make sure you subscribe to the MissionDawah YouTube channel, because eventually we'll be moving this show to the MissionDawah channel permanently. So make sure you just go on over, subscribe there, and stay tuned inshallah for the next show. Jazakallah khair for watching. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
You are wrong, Hamza. You're a lying, scheming snake who twists everything in attempts to portray yourself as more than an intellectual fool. I expected much better from your opening, but no, you have to continue your favourite games of dishonest discussion. Your entire argument is based on mathematical probability around the universe's formation and the ability of life to form. You cannot escape this no matter how many times you make claims of epistemic probability. No, that's not what you're doing. You have not proven God to use the epistemic probability, and to claim that epistemic probability proves God, which feeds back into it, is circular reasoning. Get a grip. Stop lying. Now, as for my subscribers, if you wish to go and comment on the London Dawah Movement video, do so. But also be sure to comment on the MissionDawah video itself and possibly subscribe to their channel if you want to keep track of the various fallacies they pump out. So I just wanted to bring attention that they have now 2 channels. And yes, the first 2 videos that I will be doing in response, this is the first one, will link the London Dawah Movement, whilst only the latter appears on their new channel. So yeah, that's it.